Hey YouTube, Jay Kilroy here, the third installment on the Alzmetall drill press depth stop. Made some design changes while doing my CAD work. You know, you always find things. Wanted to change the way my stop block is going to clamp, so therefore I needed to do a couple of things to the stop rod. One, I needed to cut a relief in the back. I needed a little more room between the back of the rod and the machine. So I cut a 16th, I think I cut 50 thousandths off the back of the rod, and we're going to go to that now. Alright, as my design for my stop block vacillates, I'm going to, I want to relieve some of the back of the stop rod, give me a little more room behind it. So I've got it in the vise here in the carny trekker, and we're going to make one pass, and we're going to take say a 1/16 of an inch off of the back here. I've already touched off, so I'm going to zero my dial. That's 50 thou right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and take 50 to start. Okay, I want to leave the bar full thickness down here at the end where it connects to the base. And the other thing I need to do, which I haven't done yet, is the tape, the adhesive rule that I bought to go on here. I'm going to cut a recess in here. I cut the rule from its original 1/2 inch width down to size, and I got a couple of photos to show you how I did that. I just taped it down, got a straight edge, X-Acto knife, and went at it. So I'm going to show you a couple of photos. So what I want to do is I'm going to cut a recess into the front of the bar in order to put the adhesive rule into the recess so it will not be damaged by the stop block when the stop block clamps. Originally I was going to do a stop block that clamped from the side and I didn't have to worry about it, and I was going to leave some space behind the stop block for the rule. After looking at a couple of pictures of a Alzmetall drill press that were provided to me by a viewer, we'll go to those pictures now. You will see how that the way the stop block clamps is by pinching the rod and by clamping from the front. So I want to go with that method, but I don't want the rule to get messed up. On the factory rod, it's just etched, right? It's engraved in the rod. So we're going to cut a recess in the front for the rule. The other thing that I've changed in the design is that with the stop block, with the mounting block, where the rod mounts here, it's a nice firm fit, but I wasn't getting the kind of clamping action that I wanted in order to keep the rod as stable as possible with the two 1032 fasteners. So what I've done is I've added a flex joint here in the mount block, and by drilling a hole and cutting a slot with the bandsaw. So we're going to go to that now. Alright, we got our mount block back in the mill here because this joint right here, the mount for the rod, was not giving me the kind of grip I wanted. This doesn't flex at all. So we're going to drill a hole here and we're going to cut a slot to give a little flex to this joint, and we got it set up in the mill as is usual. The fixed jaw corner here is 0, 0, absolute 0, 0 on my DRO, so I can just flip over and re-zero my incremental side, zero it up, zero my incremental side. I'm good to go. I got my drawing here. Woohoo! You can't see that, and we're going to move on the X273 260 73. All right, and we're going to move on the Y 1875. All right. That'll put us right about there. And now I'm going to spot. And we're going to get an 1/8 inch. We're going to drill an 1/8 inch all the way through. We're going to take our time. This is just a little hole that will allow us to terminate the slot and keep us from developing any kind of crack. All right, there we go. To the bandsaw. All right, our hole's drilled here. And all I'm going to do is lay the blade back in here. and cut straight back with the bandsaw to make our slot. The blade's 34 thousandths wide. That's plenty big enough. I might have to slow it. Put it in low range. There you go, there's a slot. So there you go, flex joints in place, and can remount this and probably not take it out again, I hope. I might be jinxing myself. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up in the bridgie over here, and we're going to cut the slot, the recess for the rule. So let's go ahead and get set up and take that cut. Alright, so we got our bar in the vise. Measured the width of the bar with the trusty old mic here along several places, and realizing that I have not taken any cuts on these sides. This is the way this ground bar should have been delivered. And from here to here, this thing's 3 thou off, right on thickness. 521 down here, 518 down here. So pretty crappy as far as the product goes. Anyway, so I'm gonna use 520 as my number, and just be happy with that. And you need to learn how to use your DRO. So remember, this back corner 0, 0. So let's move over to the DRO so you can get a better look. So I've got my Y zeroed here, right? I know the width of the bar, so I say Y 0.520, enter. And so that's the total width, then I say Y 1/2. And then what I do is move till I hit 0. Oop, a little too far. And now my cutter my cutter is now zeroed in the middle of the bar. I've measured the tape. Let me get the tape. So here's the scale right here, right, that I have cut down. I measured it, and it's running about 288 in width. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one pass from my starting location down here, slightly below. We're going to come all the way down the piece, and we're going to cut to that full 1/4 inch width, and then we're going to offset slightly to each side to clean the slot up, and then we'll have a spot to mount our tape. Okay, I've got a scribe mark in here. Right in here you can't see, but what I did was I mounted this all up, and then I scribed a line where the 0 mark is going to be. This is exactly where the 0 is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come slightly past that, because there's a little bit of extra there. I'm going to 0 my X at that location, and then we're going to start our cut here and work our way out. Alright, that's right down the middle. I'm going to go ahead and calculate my offsets here, and then we are going to offset to each side to cut this 588. Now I've offset 15 thousandths, half of what I want to widen the slot by. We're going to cut back down here to 0, then we're going to shift 15 in the other direction and cut back. Alright, I snuck up on it, and I got my slot right at 280. Down here, here's my 0 mark right there, where my fingernail is, a little below, and then got plenty of extra here. So we're going to go ahead and clean this up, and then do a test fit, and then we're going to stick it on down there. Acetone. That's a nice fit right there. So I've got to line this 0 line here, right here. Make sure you can see that. The 0 line, I've got to line up with a little scribe line that you probably can't even see, but I'll point to it. It's right there. That's the scribe line. So I've got a little extra room down here to line this 0 line up. Alrighty. Just use the handle of the screwdriver here, which is smooth, to burnish this down in here. Alright, there you go. The scale is mounted. Of course, you can't read it with this bright light. Let me try to get you a more close-up view. Trimmed off this waste down in the bottom. It wasn't really sitting down flush. And there you go. So we now have at least we have a depth scale. We don't have a stop yet, but we have a depth scale. The expected clamping action of the flex joint has given us a extremely stiff grip. I can't even move this thing. So looks good. Well, there you go. Stop rod is complete. The scale is in place. The base is good to go. Time to build the stop block, the moving block. So that's going to be fun. We're going to cut us a square hole. People always love that. And build us a T-handle for the clamping action. Build us the adjustable stop rod for the power feed. Lots left to do. Be safe in the shop, and I'll be back with you soon.